Hello, everyone, and welcome to Weekend Rental, episode 106. We are your gaming and geek culture podcast. As always, my name is Ryan, and I'm joined by Biff.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
All right, if you enjoy our content, head on over to Geekade, where you can find other great geeky-related content, whether it's video games, movies, music, comics, and more. Geekade.com, what's your geek? And duo episode. No Andy this go around. He tweaked the old back. We're getting up in years. We're not a young podcast. We can't be lifting things like we used to. So
our text messages are very different nowadays. Or like, yeah, I got heartburn, or threw my back out, and it just happens to be the muscles that hold me straight up and down. So gotta lay down for a while. Yeah. So we're wishing Andy a speedy recovery, and
he will be back for the next episode. And we have a little sneak peek. We've got a special guest lined up, potentially a couple of them for the next episode. So
it's gonna be awesome.
We'll have something to look forward to. We're aligning schedules as we speak. And speaking of schedules, we've got some things to talk about here. I don't know. I didn't have a whole lot, and you seem to have just some amazing news, Biff. Oh. This first topic, I know we're all excited about this update.
This is huge. This is probably the biggest video game news that has hit this year. And our lovely Amico, we all want it, has officially been pushed again for the third time. Yeah.
I didn't see this coming at all.
Yeah, nobody did. This was a curveball. Just I think everyone's just dumbfounded at this point. So again, I don't think anybody's shocked at this point.
No.
It has become this ongoing joke in the YouTube community about the Amico. You still have the weirdos that I'm pretty sure that they're going for attention because they're like, they just need more time, and I'm like, no, it's time to jump off the ship, get your pre-order money back,
right,
and move on and do something with your life. The Amico is dead. The end.
Yeah, and I like how they didn't really even give a firm date. They're like, we're pretty confident now that pre-order backers are gonna get it by the end of the year. But that's what we're aiming for. But Corona.
Ugh.
And the sad thing is like I feel like there's some truth to the Corona excuse, but the reality is that I don't know that they've really had a solid grasp on what they've been doing as far as like building a platform from the get-go. And I think that's probably what's really dragging them down.
And honestly, they got to be running out of funds for this project.
Didn't they get like 11 million?
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
They did. I want to say they did like a bunch of like funding campaigns. They got like 11 million.
Right. I don't know how long that lasts when it comes to developing. How long have they been developing this at this point?
3+ years.
Yeah. So at some point with your developers, your manufacturing, sales, all of that stuff, $11 million will go away pretty fast.
Tommy's probably wiping his ass with $100 bills.
Yep. And eventually you have nothing. You don't even have a product. You don't have any income coming in. Not good.
Yeah. I mean, it is getting dangerously to the point with this thing where I could see, the Atari VCS eventually did come to light. I could see this maybe not even getting that far.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think there's a better than average chance that this will get out to pre-orders and, backers. But this getting into a retail space or online web store to be purchasable just seems like a pipe dream at this point.
Yeah. How does that work with pre-orders? I've never really pre-ordered a system outside of like the Nintendo Switch. I did pre-order that. Could you, so something special kind of boutique item like the Amico, can you get your money back? Can you say, yeah, I'm done? Do they just refund that?
Yeah, there are still ways to request refunds. And actually, kind of after the E3 showing and the stuff this fall, I've actually watched several YouTubers post videos about why they did that. Because I think people that were just maybe like marginally interested in it are just kind of losing faith in where it's headed. And they're realizing that there are other options out there now. And I think the Steam Deck kind of hurt them too, because the Steam Deck's like another, if you're in that market already, I mean, why have money if you're the type of person who's going to have money in that stuff, why have money tied up in the Amico when you could just like throw it at something that's probably actually going to be useful?
Right.
So,
right.
I don't know.
That actually brings me up to my $1 million question tonight. Mm-hmm. Will we ever see a system outside of the big three, the Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo group? Will we ever see a system crack into that? And I just don't know.
Another console, you mean? Like,
yeah,
physical?
Like the Steam Deck. Are we going to see that as like, when you're naming off video game companies, is that the one that's going to come up where you're, oh yeah, my Xbox One, oh yeah, my Steam Deck? Will we ever see a system in our lifetime crack that top three?
I mean, it's always possible, right? I mean, technically the Xbox is the new kid on the block. I mean, we lost Sega, but I think we're far more because I mean, the Steam Deck is a neat device, but the Steam Deck's just a PC, right? So Steam is just the PC marketplace. I think there's a better than average chance you will see a service come to dominance or be a key player. I don't know that it will necessarily be a box or proprietary hardware. I just kind of feel like that's where the industry's going anyway, outside of Nintendo, especially if you look at what Xbox is doing. They're definitely pushing that direction. We're seeing Sony push more of their first party exclusives to PC. And to be honest, the architecture of both the current gen consoles, well, and even the PS4 and Xbox One to some extent, are just largely PC based, right?
Right.
So I don't know. I think there's a chance, but I think it's more likely that you're going to see somebody really come through and give Xbox Game Pass and Xbox Ultimate a run for its money.
Yeah.
But I don't know, what that would look like or who would do it, And
we've seen a ton of just rise and fall. Amico is a great example. And I would say the rise was minimal, but still, where they're starting to hit the charts and then they'll just fall down. We've seen that with Stadia and all of these
Stadia
other
had
groups.
The potential.
Yeah. And they're going against some juggernauts. And it would be interesting to see what the next generation, if they're going to look at the PlayStation, Xbox, like we look at the Atari 2600 now.
Well, and it's interesting too, because I think Twitch has largely shifted what our children and that generation looks for, because those people and those influencers that are inspiring our kids to play games are largely doing that on PC. My 7-year-old son has asked me multiple times for a gaming PC. That was never on anybody's radar when we were growing up. I mean, there were people that had PCs and they gamed, but it wasn't looked at as like this ubiquitous, like, oh yeah, sure, of course you play those games on PC. All the streamers do it. So I don't know. I think there's a real chance the PC market is just going to continue to steadily gain dominance. And because it's gotten so much easier and because there's all these influencers peddling it, I think the PC market share is going to get bigger. And I think you're going to see more of an emphasis from, Sony and Microsoft to really get in that ecosystem, because let's be honest, like nobody's making, well, minus Nintendo, these companies aren't making money off the hardware. So if they can find a revenue stream and they can get things going where they don't need that box, I mean, that's better for everybody.
And they're already halfway there, with Game Pass. They're essentially just using your system as a holding tank for those games. It's all cloud 100%. Based, and so
with xCloud, totally true.
Yeah,
it's a weird space. It's a weird time for gaming, for hardware gaming. I think, really, I think the market will open up more for like the niche, like little oddball thing, like projects like Amico and things like that. And, there's always going to be room for that. But I think mainstream gaming will largely funnel into a service outside of Nintendo. Because I just can't see Nintendo getting there anytime soon. That's just not what they do.
They're so far behind.
They make fun toys. That's what they do as a company. So,
and play with your nostalgia heartstrings. That's what they do. That's funny that your son asked for a PC, because my son recently did that too. It was he went to a friend's house. His friend kind of plays he plays like the Switch and Xbox, but his dad plays PC. And so they were messing around on his computer, and they were playing Fortnite. And my son came home and he's like, "Yep, I want a PC." And I was like, "No, we are not doing this. We are not going down this road. There's plenty for you to play, and you can just enjoy Fortnite where you're at with an Xbox, PlayStation." It's crazy.
It's just so easy to mess up a PC too. Like, your kid leaves the wrong third-party wired controller in the USB port and boots down your console and fires it back up, and you've corrupted your BIOS unintentionally. You know what I mean? Like, weird crap can happen super easily.
And it's not cheap to fix.
No, there's no way. There's no way I could have my kid playing a P. Plus, there's the obvious reasons of, internet and
what's that?
It's the thing that I'm glad Nintendo forgets exists a lot of times when it comes to my kids.
They don't even know how it works.
Although there's that whole weird, like, hentai, like, panty Asian girl game market on the Switch that I just can't quite wrap my head around.
That one blows my mind. Some of those games, there's actually a decent amount of those, like, dating type games.
I feel like every time I look at recently added, there's like 4.
Yeah.
Plus, there's that whole Panty Fighters game where you literally brawl to the death as flying underwear.
I have not heard of this game.
Yeah, you should look it up. The video is... I don't understand why. I don't understand.
That is really, really bizarre.
Yeah.
Really bizarre.
So since we're talking about... Oh, go ahead. Okay, I was going to say, since we're talking about like oddball consoles, did you see they announced another mini is coming?
No, I missed this.
The...
Amico Mini?
Not the Amico. That would be funny. The Amiga is what I meant to say. The Amiga PC 32 16-bit.
Oh, yeah. I actually did see this.
Yeah, and that's got potential to be pretty cool because you can load your own ROMs. It's going to come packed with 25 games. And that one's pretty intriguing because a lot of that didn't come over here, but a lot of it was pretty good or interesting. And I want to say the price point, it's going to be 2022. And I think the price point in the US is going to be like 140, which is a little steep for something like that.
How many can they make these things?
I'd imagine it's going to be like that Commodore 64 that I've got.
Right.
Which is still in the box. Once. No, I opened it one time and pressed the buttons a couple of times. Eventually I'll get around to it.
No, you won't. Stop lying.
Let me look directly across the shelf and count how many mini consoles I have that I haven't played.
I think the big question is, have you opened the TurboGrafx box? The mini TurboGrafx.
Looked at it, put it away.
You have not plugged it in yet.
Never. I don't even know where it is right now, which is kind of scaring me. Oh no, it's right there. I see it. Okay. Yeah, I've not. It's still sitting right there. Which I was genuinely excited about that one, but I think some of the reason for that, for me not playing it, is the fact that I've already got the EverDrive, and my TurboGrafx is hooked up already. So there's limited reason for the only thing is I would like to experience the CD games on there.
Right. Absolutely.
And I need to hack it and then just have a ton of stuff. So one day I will get around to that, but you can't give me too much shit because I'm not the only one who has not played their TurboGrafx Mini either. So Biff.
Busted. I have the box. It looks pretty. Yeah. It's in the studio.
It is in the studio. It's nice in the background there.
Is the system in the box? I'm not really sure. I don't even know where the system is. I think I asked you that,
and I think I picked it up, and it is definitely not in the box. But
okay, maybe I took it out. I don't remember that.
What blows my mind is I think the mini console that I've played the most in the last 2 years has been that PlayStation one, just because
that's so surprising.
it's hacked. I've got the wireless controllers. I can just play a ton of games, and I just throw it in a pile in the corner because if it breaks, I don't care.
That has definitely fallen off of the earth. The PlayStation
100%.
Mini.
Yeah.
I think that's one that PlayStation's like, we're just going to bury this one and kind of forget it even existed.
Yeah, they botched it in every way possible. I mean, they completely screwed the pooch on that. From price to game selection to interface, it just sucked. The lack of the dual analog stick controller. What were they thinking? I still
wish we'd find them every once in a while. I figured they'd still be somewhere, just on a clearance corner, but I think they've all kind of been snagged at this point for super cheap.
Yeah. It was amazing though, going into stores months after that came out and just watching the stack sit there and never go down, but the price on top would always be like slashed by
just keep on going.
Yeah, and you're just waiting and waiting. And I finally bought one, I think at like $45. I was like, oh no, that's as cheap as they're gonna get. And then eventually it was like, nope, $15.99. Like, all
There's
right.
like 20 stickers on it, just one sticker over the next.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Love it.
Idiots. Yeah.
Speaking of idiots, Fortnite. Fortnite is an idiot. We all know
There's
it.
a new Ariana Grande concert.
Oh gosh, that's exactly where I'm going with this.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
All right. Is it good?
It's just that classic what I've caught my son.
Oh, he really likes Ariana Grande
with Fortnite stuff. We had the Laura Croft situation where he's flying her down and just looking at her booty the whole time.
But I mean, it's natural, man. It's natural.
It is. We all did it. We all did it growing up.
I did it last night.
In the corner. So stuff like that. But I just had the realization how much Fortnite is driven by pop culture, like modern pop culture, where they're having these huge concerts now. It's a big deal. So Fortnite did one with, I can't even remember the guy's name, probably last year. See, that's how unhip I am. Yeah, Travis Scott. Yeah. And then this year was Ariana Grande, which I would say is exponentially bigger than Travis Scott. And to me, it's just kind of weird when you're mixing those two. You're mixing gaming with pop music. That's weird to me. And I always appreciated Fortnite with, their kind of nod to retro stuff. You would see, Street Fighter characters. You would see Tomb Raider. You would see, even the Marvel characters and the Superman. I think Superman's this season. It's just weird now that
those aren't as much nods as they are like cash grabs, though, right? In reality,
yes. But it's the dad with the wallet that says, "Right, that's pretty cool. You should get that." But it's just now there's Ariana Grande skins. And
is it a free thing? The concert's free though, right?
Yeah,
like you
concert's
just log in
free.
And go to it.
Yeah, there's a kind of a waiting room that you sit in and hope that it drops you in at that point. Gets a little bit easier as the day progresses, where you can typically catch it once or twice. It's pretty impressive for what they do and still integrate your character and what your moves and stuff like that, and the realization that there's thousands of other players doing the same exact thing, watching the same exact thing.
Yeah,
is
the
pretty
shared
impressive.
Experience of it all. Yeah.
Right. I would have to say that this go around with the whole Ariana Grande. This is the most we've ever said Ariana Grande on this podcast, by the way. So we'll chalk that up as a win. But they had these mini games, which I thought was really interesting. So the Travis Scott thing, no mini games, and you were just kind of jumping around, watching the concert, being stupid. Well, now they integrated these mini games, and some of it almost looked very Sonic-esque, where you're kind of cruising down a tube and picking up these power-ups and speeding up, going down. And it was keeping track of like who was winning. and all of that. And then it turned into a shooter where you're shooting this monster and it's keeping track of points. And so they made it more than just a viewing experience. They actually integrated, play with it. But I thought cool. That was cool. But again, just that whole mix of pop culture with video games is kind of weird. And watching my son like oddly stare at Ariana Grande.
I mean, can you get close to parts, or do you have to keep your distance? Is he like up in that booty? Or?
I mean, there's some sexy dancing. There's some body rolling and some booty shaking.
None of that sounds sexy the way you say it, but
it's some sexy stuff. Just some sexy stuff. It's not like you can creep close or anything like that, but
okay. Well, that's good.
Know. It's just weird.
Yeah, I just found out about that.
You can catch it on
shoulder
YouTube.
Shrugged it, I guess. Yeah, I don't really need to do that, but I don't know. I think it's interesting that they're doing that with like somebody of her stature too, who she's obviously very big right now in the world of music.
I couldn't name one song that she sings though.
I don't know any of her songs either, but I have to watch her stupid shows because my kids put them on repeat all day.
She has shows?
Yeah, she's a Disney kid, man. She was on Victorious, and there's another one that she's in. She basically plays
that's a Nickelodeon thing.
Mentally handicapped. The character is basically touched. At least I assume, because I don't know what she's supposed to be if she's not. She talks funny. And is like, I forgot that feet are on the bottoms of my legs. Like, that's the kind of stuff you expect her to say.
Is that what she sounds like?
Yeah, she talks like, I can't even do the voice. It's just like, oh, I didn't know.
Like a Kermit the Frog?
Like, I'm trying to play a mentally handicapped person.
Oh my gosh.
It's very off. I hate the shows. I tell my kids every time they have them on, I'm like, this is garbage. Turn this garbage off. It's like teenagers hanging out with adults, and they have a whole show about teenagers who live alone in an apartment together. Why does that happen?
Right. That's real life.
I don't know. It's bad.
All right. Well,
anyway,
one last time, Ariana Grande. There we go.
I think it's Ariana, but you can keep saying it that way.
I will call her what I feel like her name is.
All right. Well, when she sends in some hate mail.
She is an avid listener to our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
She does send us emails occasionally. And sometimes we read them. Sometimes it's in spam.
Did you catch the Indie World Direct today?
I did not.
So it was like 30 minutes, all indie focused. Shocker. That's the whole point. Some cool stuff, though. They announced that Axiom Verge 2 was available today, and it got released, did you play Axiom Verge?
I didn't. I heard it was
super
phenomenal, and the soundtrack was phenomenal, and it's very Metroid-esque.
It's Metroid, yeah.
But
it's like a darker Metroid.
I mean, this was quite a few years ago, but didn't a portion of the proceeds support some kind of charity, if I'm not mistaken?
Well, it went to like support the developer, which is one guy, because his kids got some not great disease. But then I did find out later that was a deal that the publisher made that was helping him publish the physical version, and they didn't pay him at all. So that didn't happen. Yeah,
that didn't happen.
So
my guess is they kind of broke ties, right?
Yeah, it didn't turn out well, as it would seem.
Oh, that would be awful.
I know Limited Run, I think, was doing a Wii U version, so maybe some of that stuff, but like the stuff you saw retail in stores, like the one I bought for the Switch, definitely did not happen.
So does your feel good movement feels less good?
Yeah, I think the correct thing to do is, if you want to feel good about it and support somebody who made an awesome game, is just go buy this digitally on the Switch right now, because that money's going right to him. So
right,
interesting. There's no physical overhead. It's like, I think it's $17.99 right now, 10% off. Looks great. Art style looks good. I will check it out, but I should probably complete the first one, which I did not get very far in, maybe like 3 or 4 hours. So, yeah, that was neat. And also I got super excited at the opening screen. So, the opening screen comes up. It's very clear, or at least I thought it was very clear, that it was Jet Grind Radio or Jet Set Radio, and art style is the same hip hop beats. There's skateboards this time, and you still spray paint, looks like, and you still jump across rooftops. And then they drop the name of this thing, and it's like, hold on, I'm going to try to find it because I can't even remember. Okay, it was called, what the heck? Something just bonkers, like Cyber Bomb Rush Cyber Funk is the name of this game. I have no idea if it has anything to do with, it's definitely a spiritual successor. And I don't know if this has like some correlation among people who developed those games and these, but if it's not, it is just a straight copy. Like, it looks great, but what the heck? Why isn't it like a proper sequel?
It'd be funny if it had a similar name, but just slightly off, like Plain Slide CD player.
Plain Slide MIDI file. Yeah.
MIDI file, MP3.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got really jazzed and I was like, oh yeah, it's back. And I was thinking maybe at the very least they were going to do a new repackaging of the two games for the Switch, maybe add like some new content like the skateboards. But then when that name dropped, I'm like, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk or Funk or whatever. I'm like, what the hell is this? So I'm still excited. It doesn't come out until next year. But
so
if you
same
watch,
art style, right?
Yeah, you should watch it. It's uncanny. I swear I thought I was watching Jet Grind Radio. Which I don't know. I'm still very intrigued by it, but
Plain Slide MP3 player.
Yes. And then beyond that, there were some good looking indie games, but nothing really like grabbed my attention. And I had this on while I was at work, so it was mostly just an earbud in and glancing down every once in a while. So I didn't get a lot of in-depth look at stuff. There was stuff getting ported over like Slime Rancher. My kids love Slime Rancher. That got ported to Switch. So I downloaded that on their Switches today. That was out now. There's going to be a new Tetris Effect. What is it called? Tetris Effect Challenge or Versus. So it'll be Tetris Effect, but it'll be a multiplayer online component. So that should be pretty cool.
Tetris Effect makes me want to throw up.
Oh, well, this is not the game for you. You can throw up with a friend.
Oh man. I tried it on the Xbox. It was on Game Pass, or it was Tetris Effect, yeah. And where you're focusing on these blocks, you're just seeing this. I mean, it's a cool experience, but I probably talked about this already, but it really felt like kind of a VR experience for me where I was like, all right, I'm feeling a little sweaty, a little woozy because you're watching that background just kind of shift and move. But yeah,
I bought it for VR and I have not yet played it. So I heard that's the way to experience that game though.
Yeah. When's the last time you plugged in your VR?
Over 2 years.
Oh my gosh.
I've bought a lot of games because they go on sale. I'm like, I'm going to build up that library. I'm going to dust that thing. I haven't done it. Not at all.
Not a real gamer.
I like VR when I'm in the mood. I just get so tired of pulling everything out. Plus at this point now, my controllers are dead. So that means I have to like consciously think about charging the controllers, getting that all ready. I just don't have time for that right now.
Just get that Oculus. Pull the trigger.
The one that they've been recalling them though because they're causing face rashes.
Oh.
Have you not seen that? There's a bunch of people getting like, there's a bunch of people with like rashes from the foam. So they're offering like free replacements for everyone who has purchased one. So pretty entertaining.
That is awesome.
I would really like one of those too, but the fact that it has to integrate with Facebook is kind of the thing that makes me be like, nope, I don't want to do that.
Right. And at this point, there's got to be something coming out at some point.
Well,
Oculus is like 2 years old now, 3 years old.
Quest is what, a year? Quest 2 is a year, I think, but yeah. The other one was quite a bit. It does sound like PlayStation VR 2 is possibly getting announced for next year. There were some details leaked, so that could be intriguing.
Might be able to buy one of those before an actual system.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. I think I still stand by, like, there are some very good VR experiences, and there are just a lot of them that suck. And it still hasn't reached like the point where it's something you would want to do regularly, in my opinion. Like, it's a neat, like, one-off thing, but obviously, I mean, I haven't turned mine on. I know so many people who own it that just haven't used it for anything other than Beat Saber in forever. So
I do like Beat Saber.
It's a good. You should pick up a new VR. Get them while they're still available.
Are they even available? I haven't even seen them.
Yeah, you can buy them. Yeah, you can get them.
Not any cheaper though. I'm
no,
sure.
That's the problem. Is the price has not gone down at all. But might as well get it. You get the games for it, right?
I got the games. My whopping 2 games.
I started buying them all digitally because I really hated having to take the headset off and change it. Like, I just want it ready to go. Press the home button. I can switch it from the menu. VR is not optimized for physical media. Like, it is meant to be on the device.
It's cumbersome.
Ready to go. Yeah. I got that song in my head.
What?
Thanks. That cumbersome.
Oh.
Cumbersome. I don't even know who sings that.
I don't know. That sounded very Bruce Springsteen-esque, though, at this point. I'm bad. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So yeah, the Indie World Showcase. That was interesting. Nothing amazing. And then fun news just before this podcast, friend of the show, Danton, had messaged me, and apparently those amiibo for Skyward Sword got released in Best Buys, nowhere near us, of course. And he was able to go online because he lives in the area, in the Minneapolis area, and order them for store pickup. And then it allowed him to ship one to me, even though he had purchased it for store pickup. So
you got the hookup.
Yes. So I Venmoed him some money, and my bird and lady showed up today, and
that sounds like code word for something.
Best Buy put him in a box.
My bird and lady.
Best Buy put him in like a foot-long box, and then packed it very poorly. So like the cardboard's all crumpled on the top, which I'm super happy about because I don't open my amiibo, so I love having a giant freaking fold across the top of the box.
Yeah,
Best Buy. But it's cool. I was very excited. I was not going to be able to find one, I don't think, myself. So appreciate the hookup. And then I had reached out to Chris again from Stone Age Gamer podcast because I was trying to help him find one and let him know that was available. But he managed to snag one from Nintendo online just the day or two before. So
that's impressive.
We both ended up finding them.
I still yet to have one amiibo in my
you gotta have
room.
One, don't you?
I have 0
out
amiibo.
Of a box.
0.
You don't have anything?
Nothing.
I'm just gonna take a look at Animal Crossing amiibo, and then the next time I'm in your house, I'm just gonna like hide it on the shelf somewhere. You're not gonna know. You're not gonna know.
And then once it enters my game room, I'm gonna be like, I gotta collect them all. I gotta have them all. I gotta go find them.
I'm still buying them, and I don't know why.
I don't know why.
It's hard to say no to Zelda stuff and mainline Mario stuff is my thing.
But looking over your shoulder, there isn't a whole lot of those. You got a whole lot of everything else. Well,
that was when I had the disease.
Yeah.
So
they give you a little penicillin, said wait 3 to 5 weeks before using.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to buy the Minecraft one too. So, because my kids love Minecraft. Yeah. Speaking of that though, did you ever pick up Skyward Sword?
I didn't.
Okay. It's very good. My son and I have been playing a lot of it.
Are the controls obnoxious though?
The controls are the weakest point. They are not insurmountable, but they are the weakest link in the experience for sure. But I do appreciate being able to play it on a controller versus waggle controls any day. I don't know. I want to say we're 8 hours in. We're 2 dungeons in. A lot of dialogue. It's for him. It's frustrating because he's used to Breath of the Wild. That's Zelda to him. He's not used to Zelda being a thing where you stop and you talk to a lot of people and you read a lot of text and you go fetch something for that person and then you come back and then something else. So he's missed out on like the whole traditional Zelda element, which this absolutely is. And how
awesome is that, by the way, that your first Zelda experience is Breath of the Wild?
It's pretty good, but it kind of ruins traditional Zelda for you is what I'm finding. And what my boss has said the same thing. Like he said his son that was his first experience. His son's been watching him play it a little bit. And he's just like, he just went back to Breath of the Wild instead of playing it. But it's good. I like the remaster. It's definitely worth picking up. I think it scratches that itch. It's kind of neat because it really hits on like a lot of the notes of Breath of the Wild, and the character model is the same. Some of the elements, like the framework is there, right? So you get to see where a lot of that transitioned over to Breath of the Wild, but you still get that very traditional, I'm going on an adventure, I'm going through dungeons. It's good. It's incredibly linear. Probably the most linear Zelda there is. Everything is very gated. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's areas to explore, but it is all a set piece to guide you through a narrative. And to be honest, it's kind of refreshing because that didn't exist in Breath of the Wild. You had shrines, you had the couple, battles with,
but you could literally go anywhere in that game.
Yeah.
So it is overwhelming to look at something that has a massive map.
Yeah. So I'm really liking it. He's really liking it. We're having a good time. It's mostly just fighting with the camera controls more than anything. Like it's annoying, but it's good. I highly recommend it. I think we'll probably knock it out and finish it. I think I read 29 to 35-ish if you just mainline. So that's been fun.
Yeah. It's been on my list to pick up. I honestly have not been really going anywhere. I go to work, I go home. That's all I've been doing. I haven't even been out shopping or anything like that. So
sounds
we've
fun.
just kind of been utilizing the pickup and, any store pickup and just throw it in our car and get going. So
they'll deliver stuff to your house,
Yeah, when you get on the schedule in time, we typically are last minute shoppers. We're like, should have got that. So I have been jumping into kind of a strange game. It's been getting some recognition online. And honestly, I don't have a lot to talk about because I haven't put much time into it. But The Ascent on Xbox Game Pass is what I've been playing. It is, I don't know, it's a very intriguing game for me. You guys took me on this Diablo experience and loved it. I've completed Diablo, have played some rifts, and that's been fun. But I wanted to go back. I'd like to have something very similar. And so The Ascent came out, and everyone was raving that it's very Diablo-esque as far as, the controls. Obviously, it's a completely different storyline and time period and all of that. But I jumped into it, like it. It looks good, sounds good. It is very ambitious. The map is massive, and NPCs, you can talk to a ton of them, and so there's a lot of pros to it. It's kind of like Diablo with guns.
Sure.
And then
I've heard it referred to almost as like a dual or twin stick shooter. Almost, like Smash TV-ish.
Right. Yeah. So it is very similar to that. It is a very broken game right now. I had some weird experiences with playing co-op. So it is couch co-op, which is kind of cool. And there's like elevators, and there was times you'd get on the elevator and all of a sudden it would bring you up and then drop you back down. And it just kept on doing it over and over, like you're in this broken loop. And so you'd kind of have to like back out, start all over again. And so there's just some of those weird situations where the game will just shut off, and that sucks. And I don't know why I decided, hey, I'm going to jump right back in and get back at it. But it's one that's I'm kind of excited about to see where it goes. Hopefully they can fix a lot of bugs. But
so is that like
that's what I think going into
full-on release, or is it like early access sort of thing?
It's a full-on release.
Okay, so this is like it's gone gold and okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching a lot of people play it. Everybody's streaming it. It's kind of the hot thing right now. But yeah, I've heard the same feedback as far as glitches, and I've heard several people talking about the fact that it just is wiping saves, which is genuinely a save wipe is the thing that will just ruin a game for somebody. So I've been kind of wanting to just hopefully see it patched a little more before I go nuts on it, but definitely want to give it a shot. Looks good. I think it looks really good on PC from what I've heard too. So
really,
I have to do
it's
that.
overwhelming. I mean, it's just, if you don't know what to do, I mean, you could spend hours before you even get into a mission, just walking around and, finding weapons. And so yeah, it's definitely worth checking out.
Do you purchase weapons? Do you upgrade weapons? Do you get them as loot drops?
You get loot drops. You also get, you can purchase upgrades. Yeah, you can farm different things as well, from my experience.
And this is on Game Pass?
Yes.
Is this just a straight free to play game though too? Is that what I've heard?
Yes.
Okay. So there must be like things you can buy then also.
I'm sure.
You have not done that.
I have not.
They haven't added the Ariana Grande skin for you to add yet.
Oh, I can't wait. It was too long since our last Ariana Grande mention. So That's what we're going to name this episode. Ariana.
The gamer. Ariana Grande.
It makes me think of coffee.
I know. That's what I was thinking too.
Like a Starbucks reference.
Yeah. My pun game has been weak lately, so
I'm to pick it up.
Did you get the last one though? The gamers enter Bat Country. Get it? Because of fear and loathing in Las Vegas, huh? Bat Country.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I forget you've only seen RV.
That's the only. It's the only movie that exists in my mind.
Yeah. So speaking of your mind, where was it the last few days when you were texting me and taking all of your games off the shelves?
Okay.
And trying to price it all out and sell everything you've worked so hard to collect.
I honestly didn't think we were going to talk about this. I thought we were kind of over this.
Well,
but
we're light on the topics, and this one's a fun one.
It's the elephant in the room. I think I had a mental breakdown.
I would agree.
I don't like to talk about my mental health all that much. I do deal with, we're going to get deep into this. You're going to learn Biff really, really fast. I do deal with obsessive compulsiveness and anxiety and all of that stuff. Heavily medicated, raise the roof. What? I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. And so there are things that, like, maybe there's something that freaks me out and I will act on it or just kind of get frozen, if that makes sense. And so sure. I think I had this realization. We tried to shoot a video quite some time ago, a few weeks ago, and it just didn't go the way that we wanted to. It was essentially setting a world record for dominoes on NES carts.
Yeah, I mean, let's set the stage on that a little bit, because that's kind of what snowballed this whole like dive into depression, I think, for both of us, where we had this killer idea over on Good Morning Retro, which is
stupid. That's the first time we've ever mentioned this, by the way.
We have not talked about that because we've wanted to keep it separate, but it's a thing. So anyway, the idea was new channel. It's going okay, but we needed something to possibly go kind of viral. And Biff and I are both massive NES collectors. We've got over 500 games for the console each. So light bulb, I suggest, hey, let's do clickbait, 100% clickbait, world's largest NES domino rally. We'll line up, we'll clear our collections off the shelves. Why that sounded like a good or doable thing, I don't know, but we both kind of were like, yeah. And then we're going to line these up and we're going to knock them over like dominoes and we're going to film it. And that's going to be fun, quick and easy, right? No, because you need space to do that. So spaces, we don't own gymnasiums. So we decide, hey, we'll use my driveway. I got a real long driveway. What we didn't take into account is the fact that an NES cartridge, when stood on end, not supported by anything, takes a mouse fart to blow over. And we live in one of the windiest states on the planet. So what turned out, what we thought was going to be like a 2-hour, maybe Sunday morning project, we invested 6 hours into. We did manage to get all of our games out, set up and laid out, but we could never get them to stop blowing over. And the summer heat, the frustration and the anguish that put us through, and finally having to admit defeat. Because let's be honest, Biff and I are not the type of people who take on something like that and like to let it best us. That just doesn't generally happen. So it was soul crushing, and I was physically sick following this because I swear I had heat stroke. I literally just couldn't function the rest of the day. So you take that into account, the fact that we destroyed our game rooms because we take pride in presenting them in a certain way. And now we've just got tubs of regret and shame and a failed video concept. So that's what's leading into where Biff's going.
That painted
here.
The picture very well.
Yeah, you pick it back up and you continue.
But every
from there.
time I would set a card up, I was like, why do I have this? Why? And Ryan, just being Ryan, will sometimes say something just jokingly, and I'll take it like, yeah, he's right. You know, I take it serious. So Last Action Hero, you walked by that and you're like, oh, I didn't know you had that. I was like, yeah. And I was like, well, I don't know why. And you were like, why? Why do you have that game? And you were just joking. And I was like, you're right. Why do I have that game? The obsessive compulsiveness was like, yeah. And then I found myself looking at every single cart and I was like, there's a crappy game. There's another crappy game. I have wasted a good chunk of my life collecting these crappy games. And so it really set the tone to just my feelings the last couple of weeks where I'm like, nope, I'm selling all of it. It's all going to go. And I'm not going to feel bad about it. And I went as far as pricing each individual cart. So playing stupid dominoes with the carts wasn't bad enough. I'm going to take every single one and look at it, look up the price, slap a sticker on 600 some carts. That sounds awful. And it just built and built and built. And I was waiting for Ryan. I would send him occasional text messages saying, oh, I didn't know this game was that expensive. I didn't know this one rose in price, or I can't believe I have this one. That's stupid, or found a manual here, or whatever. And then I was expecting him to be like a bald eagle, and I'm just this mouse in a field.
Okay, I was wondering where you're going with this.
No, I was just this mouse in a field where you're like, oh, I will be over right now, and I'll just take care of all of that for you.
I was trying to wait for you to come to your
somebody
senses.
to take all of my games.
No.
I needed somebody to take all my games in that moment. And then I've kind of calmed down, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not thinking super rationally at this
because
point.
you couldn't listen to me the multiple times I told you were making a mistake. You
Not
finally
via text. You can't do it via text. You can't do it via text.
So you can't. So Biff comes to his senses and starts texting me out of, like, waking out of his coma today, right before the show. Like, I think I went off the deep. I'm like, yeah, I know you went off the deep end. I told you this multiple times because I bet on Saturday, it must have been a 6-hour span where just like every 90 minutes you were sending me like the price of some game, like Eliminator Boat Duel. I'm like, okay, whatever. He's just looking at a few things. And then like 4 hours later, it'd be like a couple more games. I'm like, so I knew you literally sat there all day and priced them out. And then when you sent me the photo,
I was a wreck, man. I was a wreck. I was a wreck. And I wanted you to
take advantage of your games.
The longer that you took, that sounds bad. The longer that you took to respond to my text message, you have crap to do, okay? But the longer that you took to respond, I was like, yeah, he's right. This is garbage. Why? Like, it was just feeding my, like, I need to sell it. I need to get rid of this. It's like this love-hate relationship. And I would say that a lot of us have this with our collections. There's a love-hate where sometimes you just feel a little chained down to it.
Yeah.
And where you're just like, oh gosh, I can't believe I've put so much time into this. And
well, and it probably doesn't help that you and I have collected very closely in the last 2-3 years. And I, have been discussing and just did a massive purge of my own, which we talked about last episode. So You knew my head was already there to some extent. But you went like, no, just torch the world, scorched earth. This is all going away. And to not reply back to you, it got to a point where I didn't know what to say anymore, because I would suggest things and you always had like some answer as to why this was absolutely the right decision for you. And I just was like, all right, like I just got to let him do what he's going to do. And then buy whatever.
On me.
I was I fully intended on buying everything Nintendo that you were going to get rid of.
You could have almost had a complete set of NES like that.
That's not necessarily the way I wanted it to come into my possession, though. But at least you've mostly snapped
done
up.
it.
Yeah, I just kept thinking, I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to pull like a couple grand out of the bank, because I knew what I was going to be getting off you. I'm like, oh, this is going to hurt the old wallet.
Yeah. You're going to have to mortgage your home for a lot of that. But I think I have a lot to sell. And I think there's a lot of people selling now. And there's a lot of people realizing that, I don't know, for me, it was like, this just doesn't excite me right now. And I was going to capitalize on it. So Dreamcast. So I have all of this stuff that I definitely don't care about. The NES. Yeah. Deep love for that. So why did I not go straight to my Dreamcast, GameCube, Saturn stuff first? Instead, I'm like, look at this giant wall of all these NES games. That's where I'm going to go first.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it was completely conveniently in bins because of our failed domino thing. So that made it more.
Yes. So there's a lot that contributes to this. Yeah. But yeah,
crack cocaine. I'm just kidding.
So Sega Genesis, Dreamcast, GameCube, Super Nintendo, those are all going for sure, 100%. I can't remember the last time I'm almost positive I've never played a GameCube game out of my collection. My son has been the only one. So,
well, and that was new to your collection, right? Like within the last 3 years, probably just prior to you moving to the new place, you got one.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We've done videos on this and talked about this. It's collecting can be influential, so you see people collecting things that they're excited about, and it is contagious.
Yeah,
and so you find yourself like, wow, these guys really like the GameCube. I must be missing out. I need to go buy GameCube stuff.
Yeah.
And so in that sense, I've kind of just rolled with it and then had a game room full of regrets.
Yeah. And it's funny because like for the most part, I'm pretty good about not letting that weigh into me. But for whatever reason, watching you pick up anything just like ignites this flame to crush you and out collect you. I don't know what it is, but like, yeah. That is
my wife calls
true.
it out all the time. She's like, "Oh, you and Ryan, huh? You guys are like this weird married couple."
It's not a healthy dynamic. It's
I talked about bad. Mule not too long ago, and all of a sudden, you came back. And you're like, found it.
Yeah, it's like middle finger.
Like, oh wow!
Oh, yeah, what do you like my mule here? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh! I don't know how many times I'll Yeah, I think we're just having
the highlight
a therapy session right now.
The highlight of my like last 9 months has been just getting Rescue Rangers 2 and just like holding that over here. I knew that was going to piss you off. I knew it was going to piss you off. It's good stuff.
Never seen it. Never will.
I don't know what that is, but like, I think it was because we were both so close at the time that we started like hanging out in our collection. Well, I think I had more Nintendo than you to start, but I had a lot of filler where you had like I got these $150 games and I had none of that. So that's when I was like, I have to crush this kid. Like I gotta start buying, because I didn't do that before. If it was more than like $10, I'm like, no. But then
we don't have a healthy relationship.
No, it's very bad for the wallet.
It is so bad. But you've been buying way more than I have these days. I haven't picked up anything in forever.
Mostly trades. I've been buying more stuff for the Switch because there's been a lot of good shooters that are coming out, which I guess I could talk about. I picked up Darius Burst. I think it's like,
let's change the subject, please.
Yes. So we had an intervention. He came to his senses. You're not selling your stuff, Biff.
For now. Oh, Brandon's gonna be so mad. Did I send him some pictures? I might have sent him some pictures. So I was just like going through my phone. I was like,
I got dibs on everything.
You guys better act now, because if I say I'm going to sell something, you better buy it from me immediately. Then as soon as it leaves my room, I won't think about it. So there's a deep secret to Nate.
So Darius Burst, which we both love. I think everyone on the podcast loves it. But that arcade cabinet's great, but it did finally get released on the Switch and PS4, which I think there was a PS4.
There's a PS4 Vita version, yep.
But this is like a different bundle somehow, or there's something different. But got that in. I have yet to play it, but I was just like, I love that. I would love to have Darius Burst in my hand and take it on the road. Like, yes, sign me up. So bought that. I played that on my PC quite a bit, but then Cotton got released, like a remaster of Cotton. One. So that was a PC Engine shooter, and then Retro Rob on YouTube was doing a video on it, and that guy like has just a knack for showing things that I'm like, oh, I have to buy that now. So I watched his Let's Play and unboxing, and looks like a cool shooter. So grabbed it, got it in, opened it, sitting on the counter upstairs still, but I've only had it for a week, so it's not too bad, right?
That's called what? Cotton?
Cotton. I don't know. It's Cotton something, but yeah, you can get it on Amazon. I don't think it's sold in stores anywhere. It's just an Amazon thing, but it looks really fun. Kind of a cute 'em up.
I love cute 'em ups. I love that whole genre. I'm so bad at it. I'm so bad at all of them. But there's something so intriguing with Japanese music screaming at you, these cute little things and bullets everywhere. I can't get enough of that. I love that stuff. So I should be picking up all of that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely you should pick up Darius, but I think you should also grab Cotton. I think it would be right up your alley. And grab them both off Amazon. You get that Prime. You can get the free shipping. So, yeah, excited about those. Those are neat to see. Anytime I can get a
reboot.
Yeah, anytime I can get a good quality shooter physically, I kind of go for it. Just like that what was it, the R-Type Final 2 or whatever, which I've been playing some of, and I kind of fell off of because of Breath of the Wild. But yeah, I don't know. I love me a good shooter. Oh yeah, you're right. Skyward Sword. It is Skyward Sword.
They're the same thing. It's fine.
Kind of. It's a Zelda. What? It all blurs, right?
It's a Zelda.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So you haven't bought anything new then? You've just been playing Game Pass stuff?
Yeah.
Which is the way to go, really.
I honestly haven't gone anywhere. I haven't picked anything up. I know there's good stuff out there right now, Skyward Sword. And I actually had someone message me not too long ago. They bought some GameCube games from me a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And it was like, hey, just want to let you know that there's a whole bunch of quality NES games at a pawn shop that someone just recently dropped off. I think you probably would want some of them. I didn't even care.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that information.
Yeah, you were going to buy I needed you to save your money so you could buy all my stuff at that time.
Well, can you tell me now? Which pawn shop was it? How long ago was this?
What's the one that's kind of by my office building?
Used a bit. Used a bit. There you go.
Yeah, used a bit.
But it's been over a week?
No. A day or two.
Okay, well, I know where I'm going for lunch tomorrow, so.
You wanna have lunch tomorrow?
We're gonna go to India Palace.
Oh gosh. Just wreck him before we go in there.
Get a dry non-alcoholic martini from the African nightclub, and then we'll go to Used a Bit Pond. It'll be great.
There sounds like a night of diarrhea.
That entire string makes no sense to anyone who doesn't live in our exact metro area. So I apologize.
Yeah. So I haven't. No, there really hasn't been anything.
What Friday's the
intriguing.
Rounds, right? The other collector does the rounds on Friday, right?
Yeah.
So if we can get there tomorrow, okay. Well, that's
he's probably been already there got called, at this point.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go check that out. That's exciting.
So, yeah.
You got a pube in your teeth?
Maybe.
I know this is an audio podcast, but if you have the visual, Biff's been trying to pick something out of his teeth for a little while here.
Yeah. You know how sometimes you get a hair wrapped around your tongue?
Yeah.
That's my issue.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to solve it, but
tying cherry stems with your tongue was just too simple for you, so now you move on to hair.
I was trying not to be too sexy on this show.
Yeah
I don't want to cause anybody to stumble. That's it.
Well, that's very kind of you.
That's very kind.
This is we're way off the this isn't that bad of a rabbit hole for us.
This is normal. This is normal. Andy's
Yeah.
not here to corral us, so we're just going to go for it.
He can definitely ground us.
R.I.P. Andy. R.I.P. He's not dead.
He'll bounce back. The feeling in his feet will come back. So this is the perils of getting older. You lift things, you crap your pants.
It is.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I had Taco Bell for lunch today. Not sit well.
Gosh.
Not sit well.
That's fun. Did you call me? No.
No, it was like a spur of the moment thing.
I really needed a friend. Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't know. You're always so busy. I do lunch early. It was one of those days where I just needed to leave work, and I also didn't want to come home for lunch and be bothered by my wife working at home and my kids. So I was just like, nope, I'm not coming home today. I just want to sit in my car and shovel the most disgusting, terrible for me food that I can down my face, because that's what I need to make me happy. And I did that. I ordered a combo meal.
Actually sounds lovely.
Yeah, I ordered a combo meal, and I was like, no, I'm going full fatty today. And then I ordered a burrito on the side. It was like a $10 Taco Bell bill. Do you know how much crappy food you get for $10? A lot, let me tell you.
You at least get 40 tacos.
And then I hit that bathroom stall this afternoon, blasted off to Mars, and it was glorious. Tell you what.
I just had a jelly sandwich.
Just no peanut butter?
Yeah, my kids ate all the peanut butter, jerks.
Bastards. What kind of jelly?
So, it was grape, which is even worse.
Yuck. You need peanut butter with grape, like raspberry on its own. That makes sense. But just a plain grape sandwich, it's just not right.
Yeah, it hasn't been good.
Don't you know what you need to do? You need to get like a mini fridge out in the garage and just fill it with those Uncrustables. So you've got like an unlimited supply just ready to go.
I like frozen Uncrustables.
It's weird. Doesn't the peanut butter get super hard?
Oh, it's awesome. I like a lot of frozen things like Little Debbie stuff. So that's Uncrustables are kind of my jam.
I forgot you're the frozen Little Debbie guy. You changed lives with that.
That's my girl.
You know what I like frozen really good is Charleston chews. Charleston chews are amazing.
Now you're talking.
Especially if you can find the
strawberry ones.
Yes, the strawberry one. I love the chocolate and vanilla, but the strawberry is so good.
If you hit that Taco Bell on 13th Avenue, there's a candy shop over there.
Okay.
You can get the strawberry ones.
Sweet Dreams Confections, yes.
Yeah, all day,
they also have ghost pepper nacho cheese, which is exciting.
We're talking about so many landmarks in Fargo. Everyone's like What?
Speaking of frozen things, why is TikTok all obsessed with frozen honey? What's that about?
Well, I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, it's going around like the frozen honey thing. Like everybody's making videos eating frozen honey. I don't understand.
Is it good?
I don't know. Doesn't make any sense to me. I just keep seeing headlines on it. And
I don't even know what TikTok is. So
yeah. I think it has something to do with a clock.
Is that like the dating app?
I think it's Farmers Only is what you're thinking of.
FarmersOnly.com.
I think we need to cut this off. Want to take us out?
Yeah, I think at this point we just need to shoot the cow.
It's dark.
Get them steaks.
It's dark.
It is super dark. But we appreciate you guys hanging out with us on our rants and weirdness. Do we have any emails that we need to share?
We do not. No.
We don't?
No.
Ariana.
Hold on. Let me double check. Yeah, because Ariana might have reached out to us.
She might have hit us up
Let's
in them
see.
DMs.
We have an email, actually, yes, from Eugene Fernandez. He wants to transcribe our videos, and yeah,
sounds good.
He'll do one for free, he said.
Really?
Yeah. That's how they get you.
We should catfish him. Fernando, we're coming after you, buddy.
I don't think that's how that works. I don't think podcasts can catfish people.
No, I'm not really sure. But anyways, Fernando, you better watch your back. We're gonna catfish you. Anyways, we appreciate you listening to this train wreck. Make sure you send those emails to us, weekendrentalpodcast@gmail.com, if you have any advice for us NES collectors from losing our minds. Send them to that email address. Make sure you're following us on all of our social media, Twitter, Facebook, not Instagram. We are not there, but all of those other social medias, Tinder, those kind of things. We really appreciate that. And you can find all things Weekend Rental at weekendpodcast.com. And as always, fellas, be kind, rewind.
Taco Bell. Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Areola Grande.
Oh my gosh. I love it.